Alright, how y'all doing? Excuse the incredible low keyness of this today. I'm trying to minimize impact on other people right now. So much so that literally there's that and a lamp doing the he's gone light work. So with my excuses out of the way, I've just finished Rand Nerds Game Night, and so the topic of today's video comes from that. Rand Nerds is a podcast that I do, and we do a game night every Tuesday. And right now we are playing Warhammer End Times Vermintide, the first one. So rewind a little bit. I've been playing Toe Jam and Earl recently. Been playing with my mate Divine. Really fun. Started playing it on the Nintendo Switch, and then he started playing on Mac, I was playing on Linux, and we had a few issues, like, I don't know, maybe our save file got corrupt or something. You'd get to a certain point on the tutorial, and, like, I don't know, he wouldn't be able to load in or whatever. It could have just been a connection drop, but who knows, right? Happened twice, and we decided to report it to the devs, and me and him start joking, like, dude, what are the likelihoods that they've ever had a message, like their support team have ever had a message to say, yeah, there's like a Linux guy and a Mac guy, and they're trying to play your game together at the same time. When is that a thing? Because everyone knows, right? You don't game on Linux, and Macs can't play games. They can't. In fairness, that's probably why Valve binned off the Proton support, the Steam Play support for Mac. That's the like a wrappery dealio to be able to play Windows games on unsupported platforms. So kind of Wine, DXVK smashed together, and you have this thing that allows you to play non-native games on your platform, which is really, really cool. But as I say, you know, Valve obviously understand that Macs can't play games, so they drop support for it, or at least I'm sure they drop support for it. It's only really on Linux now, because let's be fair, a Mac's only likely to have a dedicated graphics card if you spend over $1,000. At least that was the case when I last used a Mac. I don't know if that's really a thing now, but Macs generally don't play games. So the idea that a dev is going to get a message from a Linux guy and a Mac guy saying that your game's kind of for us just seemed really, really weird and jank to us. As I say, I've just done Rand Nerds Game Night, and the subject of this video, I used it the entire time I played. So Vermintide's a Windows game. I believe it's only a Windows game, and I could have just rebooted my PC, gone into Windows, and played. I was like, no, can't be bothered to do that. I'm all right with this. I'm pretty much already set up. Let's use Geforce Now. If anyone doesn't know what Geforce Now is, it's a game streaming platform where you basically, so to kind of dumb it down, if your machine can render a 1080 60p video, you can use Geforce Now. So, well, I'll show you, but Geforce Now, basically, you pay them a very small amount of money to sync up with your Steam library, and any games that they have on their servers, you can play, and then they will take the inputs from you and then send a video feed back to you with minimal latency so that you can play the game on whatever. So it doesn't matter if you're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, you can play a game, you know, because it doesn't care. And the cool thing is you either use an app or, like I'm going to show you like how I played on Rand Nerds Game Night tonight, browser. So let's cut to the thing, and I'll show you the groove. Right, so here's my GNOME desktop, and all you've really got to do, open up your Chrome browser, and you just want to go to play.geforcenow.com. And then what you do is you'd log in, okay, because it's already logged into my my GeForce Now account. It's usually the same account as well that you use if you have an NVIDIA product. You'd use the same account that you use to get drivers and stuff like that. If you're using the GeForce experience, use that account to get into GeForce Now, or just whatever account it is that you choose to use. You can log in with Facebook, Gmail, whatever. Then after that, you can you go to generally settings, and in my case, I've already synced up my Steam library. I've logged in with Steam. I've synced up my games. Here's where the downside is. As I said, if the game is on their server, you can play it. I've got about 1,200 games on Steam. I believe there is support for Epic, Ubisoft Connect, and I don't know about anything else. Once upon a time, I think Activision Blizzard had their games on here too, for like, I guess, COD, WoW, stuff like that, but they're not here anymore. If they put them on here, that would be really cool. Games like WoW, if you could get like Guild Wars or some big MMOs on this, it would be fantastic. But check this out. So streaming quality, not really a huge thing to worry about here, but it starts off as balanced. I've set it as custom because my internet connection's been a bit of a div at the moment. As I say, this is streaming. So if your internet connection tanks, you lose access to your game. You can't play your game. But set my custom bitrate, 15 megs, 1080p. You've got a selection of resolutions. I just go for 1080p because my monitor here is 1080p. And I just set it to 60 FPS. You can set it to 60 or 30, but I'll go for 60. It's not that big of a deal. And then, yeah, just come to games. And, I mean, there's like loads of featured games. A lot of these I don't own. I think like that's a new Ubisoft game. Don't know, the new Hitman game's on here. So if you don't have a machine powerful enough to play that, go for that. Where's the other one? Scott Pilgrim's on here. I believe that's only on the Epic Store. So there you go. There's Epic support. If you want to play Among Us, but then you can play Among Us on a pasty, so I wouldn't really know why you'd worry about that one. Where is the other one? There's a big one that I've played on the new Assassin's Creed. Where is it? Where is the new Watch Dogs? There's loads of fighting games on here too, which is interesting. Where is it? Look, or have I gone right past it? It's big and yellow, and it's a game that no one can run unless they've got a supercomputer. Right, hang on. Let's go back from featured. See, because if you just saw there, look, 295 games are in the featured section. Free to play games. I think you can play Fortnite on here too. Yeah, there you go. Fortnite, Rocket League, Counter-Strike, tons and tons and tons of little bits and bobs. Where is it? It's not. I'm sure it's normally here. Well, normally it would go, "Hey man, do you want to play? Like Cyberpunk?" That was like one of the big ones that they were advertising. But apparently, either I must be blind. Look, I'm not seeing it. Actually, hang on. My library. Bam, there you go. Cyberpunk. So if you want to play Cyberpunk, if you pay for the Pro thing, which is like £25 for 6 months, you get access to ray tracing. If you play for free, you're limited to 1 hour sessions, no ray tracing, only 1080p, fluff like that. But you can play games. It's rad in the browser. And so my groove has been, we'll do this right there now. Playing Vermintide. Vermintide 2's on here. Deep Rock Galactic, I've played all of these on, well, I played that one and that one on Rand Nerds Game Night. I'm going to be playing Vermintide 2 when we finish Verm 1. You just literally click the thing, and it'll do this thing. Okay. Just let it spin up a machine for you, or find you a machine. Sometimes there are queues if you're playing a really popular game, but they're generally pretty short. So continue, and that'll do the old logging into Steam. Now this is the trick. This is the point where you would have to log into Steam or whatever other platform. So, just put in your username and password. I'll just come up with a regular Steam window, because literally all this has done is spun up another machine with a little desktop overlay, and then it'll just launch like the Steam client or whatever, and then you do whatever it is you have to do. Sometimes games will open up like windowed, or in the case of Vermintide, you get the Vermintide launcher, and you can go in and change your basic settings and all that. and then just hit start game. Just give it a little bit to load up. And this is, the loading times are solely dependent on Geforce Now's servers. It's got nothing to do with your computer at all. You could be running on a pasty. Like, for example, I think load times on Cyberpunk native on my machine, and I mean native as in Windows, native are probably double that of GeForce Now and Stadia. So if you want fast load times, this is probably a good way to go. Plus, right now I'm on Linux, so I don't have native support. And if I had to be honest with you, in a lot of cases, I would much rather stream a game than play it through Proton, Wine, DXVK, just because at least I know that right now the game is running on native hardware. So it is running on its native operating system on hardware that supports it, rather than being on hardware that supports it but going through magic, jiggery, pokery, witchcraft to get it to run on an operating system it's not supposed to. I'm not saying that Proton, Steamplay, Wine, and DXVK aren't great. They are great. Just, you know, I remember playing on a machine that wasn't quite powerful enough. There would be issues. Performance drops aren't huge, in my opinion, on Steamplay, but whatever, you know. So just for the lols, yeah, here you go.
Rested, healed, good. Because I've got.
I'm moving around. It's the hub, and there you go. I think this is fantastic. This and GeForce Now and Google Stadia giving you the option to play games in your web browser. I mean, how cool is that? I've spoken to a few people about it. In fact, I was speaking to the guys after the podcast tonight. And it's just, you know, I said, look, you guys do know that I've been playing on my web browser, right? I'm not even playing native. So, you could just imagine having a Chromebook. Cheap little PC, Android TV with Chromecast thing, you know, whatever. Play on your phone. You don't need to have expensive hardware anymore to play games. A reasonable internet connection is required, but I think most households these days, at least where I am in the UK, most households have a somewhat reasonable internet connection. I don't think the requirements are huge to get GeForce Now to run. By all means, check it out. You can try it for free too, so you can just log in, make an account, sync up your games, and then just give it a go, and it'll say, well, you'll have to wait in queues a little bit longer, and you can only play for an hour, and like only at whatever resolution, but you can still try it out and see if it's any good for you. I think it's pretty good. The fact that you don't have to have native machines, like you don't have to be on the native OS to play a game anymore, as long as it's supported, and that list does grow. So I'm not even going to bother showing you the list. It's quite a reasonable list, but you can look it up. They change it all the time. More and more games get added as time goes on. So even if you just go, well, is that game in it? You never know. It's a licensing thing. So what I might show you today might not be there tomorrow, but still, for now, which I guess is another issue with streaming, isn't it? But, you know, you get the option to play games on hardware that isn't supposed to play it. And I think that's fantastic. You don't have to upgrade your machine to play Cyberpunk with ray tracing. You can just get a GeForce Now account and play. You don't have to install Windows to play games on PC. You can bust out your old school, you know, MacBook Pro or whatever. Still got the horsepower of a gaming machine. Just you're being given it in a video feed, and honestly, the quality is pretty solid. If you want the smoothest, cleanest image, you know, then you need to play native. But for what it is, I think it's really good. For £25 for 6 months, that ain't bad. And I mean, if you only want to play for like an hour session, then playing on the free mode ain't gonna matter either. So I think it's pretty cool. I think more people should give it a go. I'm a bit biased because I've been doing the whole game streaming thing since OnLive. OnLive, Gaikai, both of those sadly met an untimely end. I mean, OnLive ran out of money, I think. Gaikai got absorbed by Sony, so that's part of their streaming service. Gaikai was fantastic back in the day. I beta tested Gaikai. That was really, really good. Then Google Stadia, I quite like Stadia. That works great. You know, I hope that Google supports Stadia for quite some time into the future. I think it's a really nice service. But I think for a lot of people, GeForce Now is going to be the better option because you can sync up your Steam games. You could just literally say, well, what games does GeForce Now support? And I'm not really saying you should do this, but you could. You know, you could just wait until there's a Steam sale, or go to CD Keys or All Key Shop and just look for games that are on that list and find them as cheaply as possible, pick them up, and bam, there you go. Whereas Stadia, Google streaming service, you have to pay full price. That said, Google does have nice hardware. I love the control pads for Stadia. I had one on my desk, but I can't. Must be over there in the drawer. But you can play that with mouse and keyboard. You can play that with a control pad. You can play it with an Xbox pad, PlayStation pad, whatever. I believe you can do the same thing with GeForce Now, but I'm not entirely sure. But at this point, I'm just playing with a mouse and keyboard. I think when you play on the telly with like your Chromecast or your what's it called? What's the Nvidia Shield TV thing? You install GeForce Now on that. You can play with a control pad and like Bluetooth or whatever. I think they're really cool. I think people should try these things. I mean, why spend all that money on a hyper powerful graphics card if really all you need is a somewhat stable internet connection? It's working for me, and I don't have a great internet connection. Even so, when we were streaming today, my internet connection went down to like poor, and I was still able to play and keep up, and the image was pretty solid. And Vermintide, you know, you want to have a somewhat smooth experience to be able to play that game. I've played through the entirety of Final Fantasy 15 on Stadia as well. I think game streaming is a thing that people should check out. You shouldn't just look at it and go, ugh. And realistically, if you're in America though, pinch of salt, because the server is probably 1,000,000 miles away from you. And I can throw a stone and hit the nearest Google server, so or the nearest, you know, Nvidia server or whatever. They're probably pretty close to me in the grand scheme compared to America with the sheer number of hops you have to do to connect and that. But fantastic stuff. Gaming in a browser, and we're talking AAA gaming in a browser. Try it. Let me know how you get on with it. Let me know what you think about it. Would you try it? Are you not going to try it? What are your excuses for not trying it? Because I'm sure you've got a few. I need more games, though. I'm going to head off. Let's turn off my lights again. And I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one. What was the point in this video again? I can't remember. Just try streaming. It's fun. Or streaming services. It's rad. And Activision Blizzard, get your shit together and get the games back on. I'm sure someone said to me that WoW was on GeForce Now at some point. How cool would that be? How cool would that be, being able to just play on a pasty? I mean, you used to be able to play WoW on a pasty, so